you a little background, at TT we have been improving AutoSpreader for over a decade. In our new platform, we have completely rebuilt it from the ground up using everything we've learned over that time to focus on speed as well as flexibility. In our lab tests today, our hedge latency is down to around 50 microseconds, and the requote latency is around 35 microseconds. In regards to flexibility, AutoSpreader rules allow users to build their own custom logic to override the default engine behavior. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. AutoSpreader allows you to trade calendar, inter-product, and inter-exchange spreads. You specify the leg instruments and the parameters that define that relationship. AutoSpreader will calculate a synthetic market based on those parameters and the market in each leg. So you can see here on my screen on the left here, this is the synthetic market, and on the right are the two legs that make up the market. You enter orders in the spread market. Go ahead and do that. And AutoSpreader will calculate which prices to submit the quote orders in based on the leaning markets. So just like any other order, AutoSpreader orders appear in the order book. You can see it right here where I can change the quantity, I can change the price, as well as the child orders. When I get a fill on an AutoSpreader order, it'll appear in the fill window, and the position window will just show the positions of the child orders. Down here at the bottom, you can see that we have charting capabilities for our synthetic spreads as well. So right now, just take you through how to create a synthetic spread. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is open the AutoSpreader widget. In the AutoSpreader Manager, this shows you a list of all the spreads that you have created, and coming soon you'll be able to see spreads that have been shared with you as well, so that users can share spreads and configs with each other. You can create, launch, edit, copy, and delete all of your spreads right here from this widget. The filter allows you to look up individual spreads. We also have tabs down here at the bottom where you can save your filtering. But to create a spread, you just go ahead and create, click the Create button. Obviously, you're going to give it a name, and we're just going to do the CL calendar spread. So the price formula here, there's four options for the price formula. Default is the price differential. And what this is going to do is this is going to take the price of leg A and subtract the price of leg B. I'm not going to go through each of these examples. I'll just speak about them briefly. Ratio is going to display the price as a percentage ratio, which is basically leg 1 divided by leg 2. Net change will show the difference of the net change of each of the legs, so the net change of leg 1 minus the net change of leg 2. And the custom spread option will allow you to create whatever spread formula you want. So real quick, we'll go back to price differential. I'll type in my leg markets. And we'll do CL May. And CL June. And as soon as you pick your leg markets, you can see that this preview pane here shows you what the market is going to be. Now going back to custom formula, when you select custom formula, this allows you to come up into the formula and change it however you'd like. When you're using price differential, the default formula uses the merged price, and merged being the direct plus the implieds. In custom, one example of a custom formula would be changing the merged to the direct price. So here in this example, the AutoSpreader would ignore any implied market and would just lean on the direct prices. But we're going to go back to price differential. I just wanted to show you how that works. The ratio is the quantities that are going to be submitted for each leg. These values do not affect the spread price. It just says what quantities you're going to submit for each leg. Everything in AutoSpreader, similar to Algo, is designed from the buy side. So when you have a +1 on your first leg, when the order is a buy order, that's going to be a buy in the first leg. A -1 on the second leg would be a sell in the second leg. The multiplier will weigh the value of the leg price. Values can be whole numbers, decimals, or fractions. Pay up ticks, so just to give you an example, if you were to type 2 here, you can see right away the preview pane is going to update based on our change in the multiplier. That weighed the price of the first leg twice as much as the second leg. We'll go back to 1. We'll see that it updates. I'll go ahead and launch the spread so that you can see this as well.
How do you get it to work? Well, how do you?
Okay, so on the left again here, you see this is our synthetic spread market, and the next two MD traders are the leg markets. The pay-up ticks are going to indicate the number of ticks. AutoSpreader will adjust the hedge price before submitting. If it's a negative value, it'll price the hedge order away from the market. A positive value will price the hedge order into the market. So if you're quoting a very lean market and you're afraid about getting legged up, you can put in positive pay-up ticks, and that will pay up X amount of ticks into the market to assure that you're not legged. The next row here is active quoting. You can enable or disable active quoting as long as you have one leg enabled. So basically this setup right now, if I'm just quoting the front leg and I go ahead and submit an order, it's only going to quote on the front leg. Now if I get fills on this front leg, it'll still send hedges to the back leg. Minimum lean quantity. This defines the minimum quantity required for the quoting order to lean against. The default value is the disclosed remaining quantity, and that really has to do with reload. We're not going to talk about that right now, but if you're not using reload, if it's a regular order, then the disclosed remaining quantity will be whatever the total remaining spread quantity is. So right now, if you're working at 10 lot and your minimum lean quantity is the disclosed remaining quantity, you will need at least 10 contracts in the leaning market to quote on. If you wanted to be a little more conservative, you could always change this. You can add some value on top of the disclosed remaining quantity. So if you're working at 10 lot, but you don't want to lean against just 10, you want to lean against double that, you can always say times 2. So this value here can either be a hard-coded number or it can be some formula that evaluates to a number. If you wanted to dynamically lean on the inside market, you would set this value to 1, and I'll show you an example of that. And what this will do is this will lean on anything that's available at the inside price. So if you're working a large order, what this will do is this will dynamically increase or decrease your quoting quantity based on what's available in the lean leg. Now obviously this is not going to work because you're constantly going to be requoting. So what you would do is you would add a rule to, if you want to do something similar to our 7X platform where you would dynamically decrease the quantity so that you ensure that you're always leaning on the inside market, but that if the next quote change was going to increase the quantity, that you would disable that change so that you would not have excessive quoting. Queue holder orders, what these do are they allow a user to maintain a position in queue with multiple orders submitted per leg. These are really designed for orders that have smaller daily ranges, but basically it captures the position in queue at the time the order is submitted. So right now I have my queue holder value set to 3, and that'll submit 3 orders behind my quoting order. So if the market is pricing away from me, what it'll do is it'll delete that front quoting order and it'll move it to the back of the queue. Your second order was the order that was submitted at the time the spread was submitted, so that'll have a you'll still have the same position in queue at the time that the spread order was submitted. Reload is similar to iceberg functionality. So what it does is it splits a larger order into smaller disclosed quantities. So if we wanted to disclose 2, offset is after each disclosed quantity is filled, you can set an offset value to change the spread price. So if I set it to 1, what that's going to do is when I receive the spread for the fill for 2 in the spread, it will change the spread price 1 tick away from where it's originally submitted. And it'll do that for each clip that's filled. So right now I have reload enabled, disclosed quantity of 2. Oops. The box on the left is going to be your total order size. The one on the right is the disclosed quantity. So you can see I'm working 2. I have disclosed 2 and I have undisclosed of 8. Now if we move that up to get a fill, I got filled at -120. It offset the next clip to -121. Minimum tick increment just displays the tick size of the leg that is defined by the exchange, and the delta displays the effect on the spread with a 1 tick move in the leg. Over here on the right you can see that, delete that so we don't hear the noise. Over here on the right you see that we have a calculated tick size. What we do with this is we make our best guess at the best fit tick size. This is obvious when the contracts are the same, when they're the same product, but when products are different, we will calculate a best fit tick size. You can always override the tick size to whatever fits your need. Now, as I mentioned earlier, one of the improvements in the new AutoSpreader is flexibility. At key moments in the order's life cycle, the user can override the default engine behavior with AutoSpreader rules. TT comes with some commonly used rules that you can add to your spread configuration right out of the box. You can also, from the AutoSpreader rules widget, you can copy any of these TT supplied rules. And then you can go in and you can make tweaks to any of these rules to best fit your trading style. So we don't allow you to change the ones that we share out because everyone has those rules, but you can make copies of them and then do with them whatever you want. So now we'll go ahead and create a rule to apply to our spread. So you can do it from 2 places. You can launch the AutoSpreader Rules widget and create in here. And this widget is just like the AutoSpreader Manager widget where you can see all of your rules, you can filter rules, you can apply, you can have different tabs that have filters on the tabs. Or within the spread widget or in the AutoSpreader config window itself, you can click on the green plus button that brings up your list of rules that are already created, and you can create a new rule, or you can apply one that's already created. So right here you can see we have rule name, rule description. Those are pretty obvious. But so what we're going to do is we're going to create a quote rule that is only going to quote the inside market. So right here you'll select your order type, quoting order, and what this does is this signifies to AutoSpreader when you want this rule to be evaluated. Quoting rules are evaluated before a quote order is submitted or anytime AutoSpreader receives a price update in that leg market. Pre-hedge order is evaluated whenever a quoting order gets filled and it's about to send out a hedge order. Post-hedge order, that rule type is evaluated. It's very similar to quoting orders, or very similar to quoting rules, except it applies to hedge orders. It'll evaluate the rule anytime there's a working hedge order and a price update is received. So we're going to select quoting order. The condition type, this indicates how the rule logic is evaluated per leg. You can either do it on a single leg or you can do it iteratively. This leg says to AutoSpreader that we want to apply the action if the condition is true for the specified leg. Any legs will iterate through each leg of the spread and make sure, or it'll evaluate to true if any of the legs, if the condition is true for any of the legs. All legs will again iterate through all of the legs and make sure the condition is true for every leg before applying the rule. And then always execute this rule. This is basically going to say that I want this rule to execute every time, so you don't have to specify any logic. But we're going to say this leg. We're going to double click here so that we can start typing our condition formula. And we're going to say this leg. And again, similar to the minimum lean quantity field in AutoSpreader, we try to make it easy for you to see what's available. So we have implemented an IntelliSense menu. So based on what you're typing at the time, it'll show you it'll filter out the options. So if I start typing ask price, you can see that the menu is dynamically changing based on what I have already typed. But what we're going to say for this rule to quote only the inside market is this leg got calculated quote order price. It's greater than, less than this leg bid price. If this condition is true for this leg, then we want to take some action. And the action that we're going to do is we're going to set the quote order quantity to 0. So basically that'll hide your quote order whenever it's not quoting, whenever the AutoSpreader engine determines that it's not going to be quoting on the inside market. We're going to go ahead and press save, which is going to add it to our AutoSpreader config. Now since we made a change and we added a rule, we have to apply the change to our spread. Now I'm going to submit the order away from the market so that we're not leaning on so that we're not quoting at the inside market. And you can see that my buy quoting order is not in the market. My sell is. And we're going to go back and look at the rule. And now we're going to show you a trick that allows you to create one rule for both buys and sells. And what that is, it's very similar to ADL, which has an option flip for sell. So again, like I said earlier, AutoSpreader, similar to ADL, you're designing everything from the buy side. So this rule says for a buy order, if the calculated order price is less than the bid price. Now to also have this rule apply to sell orders, we're going to add brackets to whatever we want to have flipped when this is a sell order. So by adding brackets to these two fields, it'll be the same for a buy. It'll say this leg.calculated quote order price is less than the bid price. But when it's a sell, it's going to say this leg.calculated quote order price is greater than the ask price. So now this rule will work for both buys and sells. So now we quote off the market. AutoSpreader would not be quoting at the inside market, so it is not quoting either leg. When we move it so that it does quote at the inside market, you can see that my quote orders appear. Since I have minimum lean quantity equal to 1, it will dynamically decrease or increase the quantity of the quote orders. If I move the order back off the inside market, it hides the quote orders again. So to go back to the rules, for each different type of rule type, there are specified actions that you can take. For quote orders, you can set the quote order, you can change the quote order quantity or price. For pre-hedge rules, you can set the hedge order price or type, or price or quantity, and you can also set the type. So if your condition evaluates to true, maybe you want to set the hedge order type to a market or fill or kill. You can also forfeit the hedge. So if some condition comes up that you do not want to send a hedge order, you have the option of forfeiting the hedge and considering it as legged or filled.
Doing it right now. So Patrick over here.
The last order type is post-hedge order. And again, this is very similar to the quote order type where you can set the price or quantity of the hedge order. So that's a basic overview of AutoSpreader functionality on the new TT platform. I hope that this was helpful for you, and please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, David, for your presentation. If you guys have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat window. We have a couple minutes to take some questions. Okay, I see that most of your questions got answered, and thank you, Patrick, for doing that, for answering that in the chat window.
So done. How did that still come through?
Okay, all right. Let's see here. Keep the questions coming. Again, we have a couple minutes. And thank you, Jay.
Because of our local hangout?
And there's a help document with the trading platform, so that you can go through, and there's also a forum where you can go through and get your questions answered. Hey guys, are there? Do you have a user guide, correct? Patrick or David, there's a user guide to this, correct? What you can do there, Phil, is email us support@ampfutures.com, and we'll get that for you. support@ampfutures.com. Okay? And I just put that in the chat window. All right, guys, I want to thank you very much for tuning in, quite a few of you today. I want to thank you again. And Dave and Patrick, thanks again for your insight and help into the platform. And we will have this class again. We'll give you guys plenty of heads up. Like us on Facebook. Look out for our emails and things like that. All right, I want to thank everyone again, and enjoy the rest of your night.